Hello everyone, this is GW31979 here. And this is part 4 of black people have a herd mentality. And like I said, I haven't even rolled my sleeves up on you motherfuckers, man. The sad part is, I love you guys, but at the exact same time, I can't stand you whining and begging and bitching type of persona. You gotta let that begging shit go. Begging is, I'll tell you right now, the day that white people give you reparations, the day that they will just put you in the fucking, everybody in the reservation and practice Jim Crow law, segregation, and black code all over again. They already did it to the whatever's left of us in the on the black Indian in the black Indian reservations. You don't know what it's like to live in the indigenous Indian reservation. Either you're Mongoloid or black. You don't have no privacy. You can forget about freedom of speech. But wait, a clown like, who's that fucking name? Yeah, Dr. Claude Anderson said, at least they got land. Yeah, let me remind people about that with those black indigenous Indians that got land, as well as the Mongoloid Indians that got land. Did you know for every 100 years they get kicked out of those fucking reservations? Every time whites, government agents go to the land and excavate to see if they got any good natural resources, they would kick them out and put them in fucked up, tainted soil, dirty water, and polluted reservations. Oh yeah, most people don't tell you that. So why would you want to get casinos that's not generating wealth in any fucking indigenous American community, let alone Aboriginal blacks or Mongoloid tribes? They're not getting shit. It's even worse in Mexico, and it's even goddamn worse in Canada. They're not making shit. They're not making no fucking money. And like I said, that group economics, that don't work in a capitalist society. I'm getting tired of hearing black people keep saying capitalism is for white people. Dude, did you know how well blacks prospers in capitalism? I said this in the last 3 videos, that capitalism was not invented by white folks, it was invented by black folks. I'm keeping it real with you. It was invented by black folks and Mongoloid folks in this nation. Whites only knew how to practice socialism, fascism, and imperialism. They did not know what capitalism was until they saw United States, Canada, and Mexico practicing that shit. They wanted to cut in. And they got their cut, and they popped it. That's how, like one guy tried to say that's how whites got out of slavery. Actually, no, whites was in slavery throughout the 400 years. From the beginning to the supposedly end. But when they created, was it the 14th Amendment, Emancipation Proclamation, was it the 14th or 14th Amendment, Emancipation Proclamation, didn't free nobody. It didn't free you either. You were still a slave. But I digress. Blacks gotta learn how to do for oneself. You gotta build your own dynasty, your own empire. And just because you make money, that doesn't mean you own motherfucking shit. You own yourself. You paved your way to yourself to move forward. Now, if everybody do that, that'd be a different story. And let me remind you, the guys, about group economics. When these Asian, you know why the American economy sucks today? Either though you got the Asian community, the African community, and some of the Arab communities in the North Africa region, the Northeast Africa region, by the way. The problem with the money, it never goes into the economy. It goes into the community, which the community would never take it into the economy. And last time I checked, foreigners do not financially contribute to the American economy. So odds are I'm paying more taxes out of my ass for these motherfucking foreigners to live here comfortably and have the money amongst themselves. And most of them, by the time they spread their money out to everybody else, they just have barely enough for them to carry over the next generation. Put this way, if the Chinese community was doing so fucking great in America, what you got 8 generations of fucking Chinese Americans here, and they've been doing piss poor, by the way. You can look this up. I'm not even wasting my time showing you links. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. Take the time to read a book. Take the time to do study, and take the time to be an investigator on this shit. Stats show that Chinese Americans, and this is back in 1984, and on to the present day, 2015. Here it is 31 years later. Nothing had to change. They still on the verge of regression. Not on the verge of regression. They still on a steady decline of not just regression, but of depression. You ever went to Chinatown? I have. I met a mad bus driver said that about 2 years ago. Those Indian reservations are destroyed. Both black and Mongoloid Indian reservations are destroyed. Which is true, because I went there. As well as the Chinatowns, the Korean towns, Little Tokyo. That's for the Japanese Americans, by the way. Destroyed. Crime-ridden, by the way. Little Saigon, that's where all the North and South Vietnamese descendants from that been here since the 1960s. There's like at least 3 generations of them, and they're all failures. Why you think they try to put their kids to school to work for the white man? Because they know that their businesses been spread out so thin. They spread out their wealth that they built for their own family so thin. For every fucking idiot in their goddamn little community, they barely have enough for them goddamn selves. That's how group economics work. I give you quick math. If your business after taxes and you pay the bills, including the workers that work for your business, and you bring home personally $10 million a year. That's after you put the money on the side to keep the business afloat. That's you putting money into payroll. That's you putting money into paying taxes onto that, because we know taxes is another form of slavery, debt slavery in this case. You personally, let's say the business generates, give or take, $100 million a year. You take home your $10 million a year cut. Now you take your fucking little $10 million and you spread it in a community that consists of, say, 400,000 people. $10 million can only go so far. That's what ends up happening with a lot of these small businesses. They live in a collective mindset. That's what collectivism teaches you. Capitalism, you do oneself, you contribute to the economy. You put money to the side, you practice discipline first and foremost. You put money to the side to protect your family and your futures. That means your family's generations on top of generations on top of generations. You don't take your money and donate it to the idiots in your neighborhood and your community. That's not your responsibility. That's their own responsibility to make their own money. Yeah, I know, black people. It's called the survival of the fittest. You should learn how to practice that. The fittest wins, not the fucking weakest. And that's the problem. We got too many weak, inferior bastions in the black community, and not enough dominant, weird people in our community that want to roll their fucking sleeves up, lacing up the bootstraps, and burn that midnight oil and learn how to do for oneself. Ain't nobody gonna take care of you. I'm 36, gonna be 37 years old, and I'm telling you, that black damn thing, that unicorn myth called the black community, never did shit for me. My mother even told me the black community never even did shit for her when she was a kid. And if my mother's alive, my mother would be 60 years old, and she would tell you right here, right now, that the only damn thing the black community knew how to do back then was donate the money as if it was a welfare system. And that's what your black people have become. Your black people have become welfare recipients. You are glorified beggars. Plain and simple. I don't know what part you don't comprehend or if any common sense will constitute in your fucking brain, and you will at least for once in your life turn on the intuitive logic portion of your fucking brain and calculate with mathematical algorithms. You've been plagued with this fucking group think and group economics fantasy. It never fucking worked. Did Wall Street prosper? Yes. It prospered based on free market capitalism. It never prospered. It never prospered out of collectivism. Let me remind you. The Industrial Revolution was started based on capitalism, not collectivism. This is GW31979 here, and this is part 4 of Black People Have Herd Mentality.